Okay, hi. Welcome to all of you. I'm Robert Jan van Santen. I'm founder of VSA, and we are organizing this event that will mainly talk about facades. This event or this idea started a few months ago because we have 30 years professional anniversary with our different offices, and when we start thinking how can we enjoy this anniversary with our team or with our friends, gradually the idea became that it was probably more interesting to say that this anniversary is about sharing, and sharing about our past experience, sharing about our passion, and by thinking so, there were two ways of sharing we found. The first one was to organize conferences. We enjoy talking with people. We work with people that also enjoy talking. This anniversary are two sets of conferences. The first one is today with international architectural firms that will talk, that are all active in Asia and in China, and that will talk about how they design a facade or how they think facade in this area. There will be a second conference on the 8th of December with Chinese people, with architects we have been working with contractors, with developers we have met, and we felt that they also have an interesting and innovative approach for facade, and we want also to give them an opportunity to express their way of thinking and working. And in between, we have the exhibition. It's a small exhibition. It's over there. You probably have seen it when you entered. There are something like 40 projects of our office in the past that are exposed there. Okay. So when we talk about exhibition, it's a little strange for a consultant to make an exhibition about his work. It is strange because normally architects make exhibitions about their work. It's not so usual that consultants expose and talk about their work. But the things changed a little with Rem Koolhaas when he, at the Biennale in Venice in 2016, the big part of the exhibition was about elements of architecture, and wow, suddenly we felt proud to be part of the world of architecture, because in all those elements at that exhibition they were showing that every part has helped architecture to innovate, and there is a kind of mutual interaction between innovation in those elements and innovation in architecture. So we feel more confident with that now. So the exhibition, very quickly, it shows when you enter. You have an introduction here. The French projects starting 30 years ago are on the right. Korean projects, Hong Kong projects, some models. Table tennis, you will read on the table why the table tennis is there. There are a few very good reasons for having this table tennis here. Color drawings. We ask you, or we invite you to to color construction drawings. Why? Because we started in China and in France for a long time to do all our work in color. We work with color drawings full time, and it makes the work just much easier to understand, and communication with the developer, with the contractor is just more easy. A small word, the pay. There is one project with pay. The project, we moved it to this place. But pay is important because first, we did not work with him, we did not work on this project, but we also learn from other people. And exhibition is something to talk about what we can maybe, or what you can learn from us, but we are also learning from all our environment. And there is a special relation that I had with one project of pay that was just amazing, so I invite you to have a look at that. The schedule for this afternoon, Very quickly, I will make a quick introduction about innovation. Areb will speak, Jacques Ferrier Architecture will speak. There will be a short talk with Narikim and myself about 2 projects that we do here. Stephen Hall, OMA, and Susie will finish the conference. Okay, so I will be the first speaker for 50 minutes. So quickly, this already you know. VSA is a company that maybe not so many people know. We are 60 people. We are working with a lot of architects in 30 different countries. We work with Pritzker Prize architects, but we also work with young architects that are just having their first job, but there's no exclusivity at all. Here are some of our offices. You will see more details and videos upstairs. And so what are we doing? We are working among the elements that were listed by Rem Koolhaas. We have roof, door, window, facade and balcony, but there are so many more things around. A facade can be so many things, a door can be so many things, solar protection, building maintenance units. It is not just only this, but everything we talk about envelope, everything that is part of the envelope we design with. And why is this so important? Because it is important for the architects. When I talk to architects and when I ask them how much time do you spend working on envelope of your projects? Okay, some say 5% of the time, but that is not serious. The most reasonable answer we hear is about 30%. I don't know what experience you have, but working on the facade is today time-consuming. Is the place where you put your personality in the project. That's where you really work as an architect. The inside of the building is probably more technical. It's not only facade, of course, the projects, but it's a big part of the project. So talking about it makes sense. When we work on projects, it's all about teamwork. And today we have offices. I have offices in France, in Hong Kong, in Shenzhen, and in Seoul, in Korea. And that is only possible because I have partners. So Nari Kim, she is here. Gontran is the French partner. He's not here. And Susie over there. You saw her at the entrance. She will be here at the end. When we talk about facades with architects, it is all about questions. And why is questioning so important? Because the world is changing, you know that. And so how to make your building in accordance with the time? We like to say that we need to understand how and why we built in the past. And when you understand, especially the why you built this way in the past, then you can also imagine the questions that you can ask yourself today or that you can ask to your client to say, these are the questions of today and we must solve them. And that, because you want to solve those new questions, architecture will change. It is not necessarily only a matter of fashion. There are plenty of questions. Here are some of them. I put them on the list very quickly. You can imagine much more, but what is for sure is that those questions are related to the political, to the social, to the geographic environment. Are related to your own feeling. It are related to the client that you have. It is related to the materials that you have around to build projects and to make projects with. It's in relation with the quality of the contractors that are available to build the project. A lot of questions that should influence and that can influence your architecture. So innovation is understanding and modeling. When you know why, already you can have a question, and when you have a question, you have a target, and you can try to solve that, and to reach that target. For us, you cannot innovate if you don't understand the topic as good as you can. If you ask me to innovate in a matter that I absolutely don't know, it is maybe coincidentally I can have a good idea, but that would be extremely coincidental. It will not happen actually. So it is it is by having a good knowledge of a topic that you can innovate in the easiest way. And for that reason, also talking about envelopes becomes a kind of topic by itself, because it is more and more complex for architects to know the small details or to know all the possibilities that you can do with the elements of architecture. So we use a lot of software, of course, to support our innovation, but that's not all, because with software you can trust if you want, but normally we don't trust our software so much. We always like to have a practical feeling of what it is, especially when we are talking about construction innovation. So we like to test, and it's only by such testing that you can be sure, and we want to be sure when we propose something. Innovation is not risk, and that's the first thing to say. When we innovate, we must always keep in mind that the people that are going to build it are probably not such qualified people. So it's a matter of communication till the person that is making the project that everything is okay. And this is a photo that I took on the handrail going upwards here. It looks so simple, just putting 4 bolts in the concrete. But there are a lot of things you can say about it. So here 1 bolt is absolutely useless. The bolt has no washer, so the fixing is not so good. But there are 4 bolts, while probably 1 or 2 would be enough. So there is a kind of safety factor that is integrated to take into account those things, because I think the handrail is not dangerous as it is. But we have to take in consideration also those kind of things. When you innovate, you must convince, and that's why I always highlight you must know why you are doing something. And when you know the story about your project, you can convince the client, you can convince the contractors, and your client can convince also the final users. This is a project we did not work on, but I was happy to see it. It's in Chicago. It's a McDonald's. It's a sustainable McDonald's. Wow, I did not expect that would exist. But in the center of Chicago, somebody decided I will do something like that to talk about environment, to talk about energy. Great, great. So, and then when you do this, you can communicate with the clients. The photos here are panels that are displayed in the McDonald's. Instead of looking at a basketball match, you can see the energy consumption of the place where you are eating. It's an interesting approach, I felt. Finally, innovation is rewarding, because I'm not sure you can just not innovate. Innovation is a kind of obligation. If you are not innovating, you are not creating difference, and then there is no architecture anymore. At least that is my opinion. And we are lucky enough to have some clients that we managed to convince, architects that also managed to convince us about their ideas, and we develop them further. This is a project we developed with Wanke and with Fifth Architect, and it's just an amazing, simple project. It's not a complicated project, but there were only little innovations, and those little innovations allowed us to be awarded by the CTBUH as Façade Engineering 2019. So we were super happy with this. We were super happy this was possible in China, and it shows that innovation is not necessarily very spectacular. You don't need to make fantastic cantilevers or things that are incredibly wow. The wow effect is not necessary to innovate. Innovation can be in very small details. Innovation, when we take all the context apart, it is an opportunity for us to do research and development. And that is something that we do from the very beginning. In teamwork, when we have a little less work, our teams get involved on research and development projects. And it is a kind of also topic where we are thinking at when we ask some questions, maybe the existing products on the market are not providing satisfactory solutions. So we identify a question, and then we start thinking, how can we innovate? There is one topic I really like a lot. because it was a topic that I heard the first day when I came in China. It must be cheaper. So making things cheaper is a concept. It's not a constraint. But when I was thinking, when you have a client that is always asking you to do cheaper, 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 what is the limit? I mean, how cheap can you go? And when I analyzed that, in fact, I realized that with a curtain wall, just a topic that I know well, with the traditional systems, you can go cheaper and cheaper by reducing the quality. You can go cheaper and cheaper by maybe taking some risk. But that is not a nice approach. That's a very negative approach. So we just started thinking, how can we design a curtain wall in the cheapest possible way? So we forget architecture, we forget everything. We just remind the codes, it must comply with the Chinese codes, and it must be cheap. And when you start working with those two concepts, the result is not looking at the curtain wall that you have here. Very surprisingly, it is not looking at all like a curtain wall like this. So the cheapest curtain wall in the world, actually I gave a price here, the material, including glass, including the connection with the floor, 350 RMB per square meter. With a traditional system, you cannot achieve that because we have just 1 kilo of aluminium per square meter of facade. So when you just think the constraint, if you ask the question in the right way, you can just find different solutions, and those solutions can be interesting. By the way, we are looking for a project where we can apply it. So if you have a big project, not that high-rise building, up to 100 meter long, but a very big surface that must be very cheap, we have the solution. There are also some other topics. The approach that we have with research and development, with innovation, with trying to see what makes every project specific, made us naturally put us in touch with universities, and we have been doing some research with universities in the past, and we are very happy to be able to announce you, it's the first official announcement today, that the Hong Kong University, the Faculty of Architecture at the Hong Kong University will open next year a Master in Intelligent Envelopes. So for the students that want to learn more and that will identify that the facade is a topic where it's interesting to know more about, to perform better and to find other solutions, there will be now a master for that. It's the first master of this kind in Asia, so we are very happy that we managed to push and to convince the universities for doing that. So if you are interested, forward the message. It is something that will be something really great. Again, it is the first time that it will exist in Asia, and architectural schools are not teaching facade engineering. The few universities that have facade engineering lessons, they are in Europe. But here we have a tropical climate, the culture is completely different. No way that, although we have some people that are graduated from those schools, what we are doing here, what you are doing here in Asia, is different. We cannot say I just take a German system or a French system and I try to put it here. So that's why it's so important that this Master of Facade Engineering will be here in Asia for the local market.